Cardfighters, welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be going through my Dragon Empire's Nirvana deck profile. It's my first deck on the D series. My primary focus going forward through Overdress will be the Dragon Empire, so most of the deck profiles you see will be like Nirvana. I'll do an Overlord one when set 2 comes out, and the new Nirvana, and any other deck variations or stuff that sort of come up with that, because that'll be my primary focus going forward, because that is my selected nation. I may also do other decks as they come up if I like the look of, another side deck, or, Bruce looks like it'll be pretty good in set 2, so I might do a Bruce deck, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, primarily Dragon Empire focused on this channel because Dragon Empire is really good. To me, anyway. I will also be doing some V content as well, V Standard and V Premium, because while I still have a few decks that I haven't put up, there's also a new, for those of you who don't know, a new V Clan selection coming out in a couple of months, which means every nation will have a new deck, so I'll be probably building a couple of those and going with that. So yeah, let's jump straight in and have a look at the deck. Starting off, I'm just going to go straight through the ride line. We've got Sunrise Egg, looking all cute and adorable. Blaze Maiden Reno. Her skill is when she's ridden by Blaze Maiden Ryu, you can search your deck for Trickstar and call it to rearguard, and she's a 10k attacker on Vanguard and rear. Blaze Maiden Ryu. Her skill is when ridden by Nirvana. You can Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Vairina, and add it to your hand. She's a 12k attacker on Vanguard and Rearguard. And, of course, Nirvana, because it's the main boss of the deck. He's a grade 3 you want to be sitting on, and I imagine, based on what set 2 looks like, is the main grade 3 you're going to be sitting on for quite some time. So I think that'll be the common denominator for the deck for probably the next 3-4 sets at least. His skill is act Vanguard once per turn, discard a card from hand, and grab a grade 0 unit and call it to rearguard. Awesome. Helps you get your Trickstars back if they've been retired or soul blasted or whatever. Second skill is when this unit attacks, it's an auto Vanguard, you can counterblast 1. This unit and all of your units with the Overdress ability get 10k. So I'm hoping in the future there's a grade 1 Vairina with the Overdress skill, because then, grade 1 boosting skills, fun times. So yeah, that's the ride deck. Pretty basic, everyone basically does that. And then onto the main deck, there's 3 Nirvanas, 4 including the ride deck one. That's to be important. So yeah, same skill as I just explained. And then I run 4 Valientes. So all the Vairinas have the Overdress skill. This one states Trickstar or a grade 3 or less unit in the Overdress state. So they have to be overdressed on Trickstar to do it. But what this means is you can go Trickstar, one of your Vairina, like Arcs or Vairina, and then Valiente, Valiente, Valiente. So you can stack Valientes on top of Valientes to gain more power, which is really fun. Second skill is Continuous Rearguard. This unit gets 5k for each of this unit's original dress. So every unit underneath it. So in essence, this card's soul, in terms of what's in there, you'll have your Trickstar and a Vairina and Valiente. So it'll be 23k most of the time when you use it. But if you stack it, yeah, you just get more. And its second skill is Auto Rearguard once per turn. When this unit hits, if it's in the Overdress state, counterblast 1, discard a card and stand this unit. So it's good because it adds on-hit pressure. It's on the 23k, so they have to use a 15k. They can't throw down 10 or anything. And it'll just theoretically keep going if you stack Valientes. So definite 4 of at the moment. It'll be looked at again post set 2. Then we have Vairina, the original one from the trial deck, even though there's already 3. Its overdress is Trickstar only, so you can't, unlike Valiente, you can't put Vairina on top of Vairina. His skill is Auto Regard. When this unit attacks in the overdress state, if it attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets 10,000 power and until the end of battle. Then Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's Regards and retire it. So it's a 20k attacker, and you can retire something if you have the soul to pay the cost. So, you know, it's pretty good. When you use it with Nirvana's skill, it's a 30k. If you've Persona, it's 40. So it's a really good, strong core Vairina to have to hit good numbers. So a definite 4 of for those. Then we have 4 copies of Vairina Arcs. So Vairina Arcs' skill is also Overstate Trickstar only. So again, you can't stack it like Valiente. So his skill is Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. If it's overdressed, which it will be when you call it, because you wouldn't call it otherwise. You draw 2 cards and give it 5k. So, it's like a pot of greed for any Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there. It's really good. You don't really use this as an offensive thing. I mainly use this as the fact it's draw. So if I have a Trickstar and Arcs in my hand when I'm on grade 2, I'll chuck that down, get this, draw a couple of cards. Often I'll draw into a Valiente or even another Nirvana to, So it's pretty good. It really helps with defense and drawing into pieces, which is so good. So definite 4 of in that regard. Then onto grade 1s, I only play 2 copies of Stealth Dragon Tencha Stead. Its skill's useful, but I don't use it that often because I tend to draw into what I need to draw into grade 3s anyway. But its skill is Auto Rearguard when the attack this unit boosted hits. I always get mixed up with that. You can counterblast 1 and retire him. Choose your Vanguard, which will be Nirvana, like every time, and search your deck for 1 copy and add it to your hand. So he's primarily there to help you Persona ride. Sometimes you use the skill, and when you do, it's good. Most of the time, I end up just discarding him to get my ride chain off or to get Trickstar out of the drop with Nirvana's skill. So he's good, but I don't use him too often. And then, because we got Festival Collection the other day at my locals, I own 3 copies of Blaze Maiden Mirin. Pretty basic skill. It's nice and basic. Auto Regard. When your unit with the Overdress ability attacks, put her into the soul. Choose another unit with the Overdress ability and give it 5k to the end of turn. So, the reason you play is because she puts herself into the soul. Soul charge is not something that's easily achieved in this deck. So, having a unit that puts itself into soul during your turn is really good because it means you can use, Vairina more than once, and any other Soul Blast skills that you might put in your build or in set 2 when there's more soul to be used. So yeah, 3 of those. It's really good. Helps soul, gives you a bit of extra power. You can use it after boosting something. So it's nice. Then 4 copies of Twin Buckler Dragon. It's your it's the non-trial deck PG. Has the skill that if there's 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So if you've got 2 cards in hand, including one of this, you can get rid of that and you don't have to discard the other card, which is really cool because if you have 2 of these left, you can just null twice. So having 2 of these, having these is really good. Everyone in every nation plays their variant because it's much better than the trial deck one. And then I only run 2 orders. They're both blitz orders. And their skill is if you have 3 or more cards in the damage zone, choose a unit and it gets 15k to the end of battle. So it just acts as a 15k shield during your opponent's turn. So yeah, just a little bit of extra defense. Onto triggers. I run the Nation's Over trigger, of course. Its effect is when you drive check it, you can choose a Vanguard and restand it. So, yeah. It's 2 100 million power swings across 4 drive checks. So, yeah, definitely play it. It's really nice. Really good. Then I run 6 crits, 4 of the Blaze Maiden, and 2 Spark Dragons, because I don't really see the point in fronts in this deck, because you hit a good level of power anyway, and throwing a crit onto like Valiente or something is pretty good. Then I run 5 draws, 4 of the Monk and 1 of the Dino Dragon, because again, drawing is good. You want to hit your key pieces, it's all nice. 4 heals, because heals, you know, any deck that doesn't play heals is like, what? And then, of course, 4 Trickstars. Because Trickstar is the one thing in this deck you actually need to make it work. You overdress onto Trickstar, you use your skills, like, to get a Trickstar, to get Trickstar from your drop zone. The whole point of this deck is Trickstar. So, yeah, definitely 4. You will always play 4, like, till the end of... I imagine unless they release another grade 0 that says treat it as Trickstar or something, you'll always play 4. So, yeah. This deck is actually really fun. I find the variation between the Vairinas to be pretty good so far. You know, you've got hand advantage, on hit pressure, you know, a little bit of board control if you can pull it off. And, you know, power to all of them. It's pretty consistent in the use so far, which is nice. It does have a couple of bad matchups. The prison deck, really this deck oh my god, this deck doesn't like function at all against that deck. You know, you build up this turn, you get like a Trickstar and like a Valiente setup, and you're good to go, and then boom, they imprison it, which means you only get it for 1 turn. It doesn't stop your 1-turn plays, because if you have a Trickstar in hand or in the drop, you can get it out. You know, even if they have a Trickstar in their prison, you can get it out with like a Soul Blast. But it does stop your long term, because you're constantly calling the other Vairinas from hand. You know, run out of resources because you're constantly having to try and get the Trickstars back. Baramagnus is another one. Baramagnus, you know, absorbs everything, so you've got to Soul Blast it to get it back out with him. The other decks aren't too bad at the moment. In my experience, I've had good matchups with Zorga. Bastion's really strong, but, you know, I can still have a good matchup with Bastion, because Bastion isn't constantly getting rid of my overdressed units. And then decks, you know, like Magnolia and Bruce, same sort of thing. Bruce hits really hard, but he doesn't really take out your board unless Eden hits at the moment. Or they use the new grade 1 from Festival. And Magnolia is... I had a fun little match with Magnolia the other day, where we basically almost decked each other out. We got down to, I think, 2 or 3 cards each left in the deck, because, yeah. But yeah, if you're playing this deck, the prison deck and the Baramagnus deck especially just wreck your day. So they're the worst matchups for this deck. Otherwise, everything's all good. It's really fun. Definitely worth picking up if you're a Dragon Empire fan like myself. The set 2 support looks really good. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the list. I will be updating it as the sets come out. So there'll be more Vairina, Nirvana decks coming out in the future. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. If you're still here, I will see you in the next video. I'll be uploading a V deck, probably Spectral Duke, I think. that's a nice one I like playing, so I'll probably throw that up. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.